Mikey, right here on Kyle TV, Amplia, Flow, Tigo, Facebook, YouTube. When you get the link, share, share, share. This evening we're speaking to Port of Spain South MP and Minister in the Ministry of National Security, Mr. Keith Scotland, Senior Counsel. Also President of the Fire Services Association, 2nd Division, Mr. Keon Guy, and analytics professional, Corporal Deirdre Charles of the TTPS. But don't forget, Probiotic XL combines 3 innovative strategies to restore balance to your digestive system. Probiotic XL contains 11 important probiotic strains, protective shield technology, and clearphage that all together make it one of the best probiotics on the market. So get your Probiotic XL, and it promotes digestive health and immunity by supporting growth of good bacteria and neutralizing harmful ones. We'll be right back after these messages.
Oh gosh, this place hot and the AC in this car not working. It's like I'm driving a damn sauna.
Check Ryan Air. Ryan Air is ranked among the best in TNT for auto air conditioning service. They specialize in repairing and servicing all makes and models of vehicles and heavy equipment. They also stock a wide range of parts. Give them a call at 640-5828 or visit them at number 41 Cane Farm Road, Tacarigua, or email ryanairac@gmail.com. For prompt and efficient service, look no further than Ryan Air.
The XL brand delivers quality service.
I would recommend Omega XL to everyone.
Take care of yourself, take care of your health with Omega XL.
If Omega XL works for me, it will work for you.
Over a period of time, I started feeling stronger in my knee where I could add more pressure.
Husqvarna, a global leader in outdoor power equipment, known for its high performance, durable and innovative products, tested and proven by generations of professionals. Full after-sales and service support whenever you need it. Contact Provar Distributors Limited, 223-9438 to find a dealer near you.
Limiting chronic inflammation is important for so many conditions that occur.
I had a lot of pain 4 years ago.
I used to have pain in my knees and my hip.
Taking it for arthritis.
Omega XL saved my life.
Then I started to realize, but hey, I could use my hands, I don't have any pain.
All in all, I am pleased to say that the Omega XL has worked.
Looking for top quality and affordable hardware supplies? Then look no further than Midland Hardware, number 97 Eastern Main Road, Arouca. We stock a wide range of tools, water tanks, blocks, lumber, steel, and everything you need for your home and business project. Check out our new display of steel windows and assorted designs of metal curtain rods. Midland also stockpiles sand, gravel, topsoil, and more. We have a variety of kitchen faucets, face basins, and toilet sets, bathroom mat sets, all garden tools, hand tools, generators, power washers, and water pumps. Customers can make payments via links, credit card, online payment, and cash on delivery. WhatsApp 327-7761 for free quotation, or give us a call at 646-2144. Open every day, Sunday to Sunday from 8 a.m. From foundation to finish, it's all at Midland.
Thank you, Master Control, and we are back. And folks, joining us this evening, we have Port of Spain South MP and Minister in the Ministry of National Security, Mr. Keith Scotland, Senior Counsel. Let me say a pleasant good evening to you, Mr. Scotland.
Good evening, Mr. Mikey.
Thank you. We all know, of course, Mr. Scotland is the newly appointed Minister in the Ministry of National Security, and he's also the elected representative for Port of Spain South. He's a practicing attorney at law with over 24 years. It's been that long?
It has been that long, Mikey.
His areas of expertise include criminal, corporate, civil, industrial relations, and family matters. Well, a lot is taking place. I mean, we can dive right into the heart of it. Currently, our murder toll for the year, Minister, is 377. every week more than 10 people are murdered, if you look at the statistics, and 9 out of 10 murders usually go unsolved. Steps in, Mr. Scotland. Tell us, what difference can we expect?
We certainly can expect a more collaborative approach with the police and the community. And the first thing that we intend to do is to arrest this situation.
Now,
A more aggressive policing and a more collaborative effort with the population.
Now, you've been in this position for about, let's say, basically 2 weeks. And in these 2 weeks, I know that you've communicated that you're basically looking at the resources that the TTPS is going to need, things that require them to get the job done. Why was this a challenge to begin with?
Well, it is just the lay of the land. Sometimes it is not every time that resources are available. And remember, this is a specific focus by the Honorable Prime Minister. So it's just to get it done. The whys and the wheres, once we arrest this situation, we can address it. But for now, that is not how. Your concern is to get it done.
Now, we had a former Commissioner of Police, Mr. Jacobs, who said that this was a new breed of criminals, in his words exactly, people who simply have no sense of compassion, who are simply going out there, and it was a sense of survival. How does one get then to arrest a situation when you're dealing with individuals who are simply engineered and driven by going out there and being part of this whole criminal act?
Meeting them head on. That's the answer.
I mean, in your... And basically...
Listen, it is a lack, it is a serious lack of humanity. It is a lack of appreciation. What we do to people, because that's not what we are. That's not what we are. But it certainly is coming from that very limited aspect of the society that is wreaking havoc on us, Mikey.
And the issue of guns, because I mean, most of these crimes are gun related. And you hear citizens talking about it all the time. Where are these guns coming from? How easy is one to access these guns, which seems to be easily accessible, getting into the hands of these individuals? And why is that so?
Mikey, that is a multifaceted problem. It's just, there is layers to that problem. Our border, our immigration, customs, where they come in, where they are packaged sometimes, even licensed firearms. It's really multifaceted. What I can say, however, Mikey, when I come from this meeting here, I'm doing something this evening until about maybe 2-3 o'clock as it relates to firearms and firearm-related offenses to the police. A more stringent, a more robust approach.
Now, according to the Minister of National Security recently, he says that what citizens should focus on is the state's response to what is happening in society, as everyone has a role to play, including the media. Now, we've been here before. We've heard that citizens have a role to play, the media has a role to play, parents have a role to play. But when do we get down to the point where we as citizens can have that feeling that we are safe once again and secured right here in our own country?
Well, it is going to take some time. I ask you, Mikey, this now is my second week on the job, and I will not want to give a time. All I can say is sooner rather than later. I don't want to give an exact time.
And I need to ask you this. I mean, you are also the chairman of the Joint Select Committee on National Security.
Yes, I had to resign that position.
All right, so you would have had some insight into a lot of things that were taking place and what have you. So I need to ask you, in your opinion, how then were citizens under siege?
How then would citizens...
How then was, I mean, you were able to have an insight, of course, being the former Joint Select Chairman on the Joint Select Committee on National Security. You would have had some insight. So you would have had some understanding step by step what it required. Why is it taking so long to arrest this situation?
Because it is not by any means a simple situation. It's it's a complex situation based on several factors, and it involves police and it involves resources, and it is going to take some time, but we have the will and we will do it.
Now, the public perception is that those in authority may be totally out of sync as to how the average citizen lives. There are people, of course, who have a fear of perhaps going to the pharmacy or the grocery and not being able to return home safely to their family. Is the authority, which you are a part of the government, do they have that understanding exactly what people are going through on a daily basis?
I don't know where that perception comes from. I certainly have not just a clue, an understanding the community that I have the honor of representing of what people are going through, and I think it's not fair to say, and it's not a fair statement, that the government does not have an idea of what the average citizen is going through. But I think, I was appointed to bring some assistance. Come on, man. So I do not at all subscribe to that theory. I do not subscribe to that view.
All right. Now you are aware that former Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith mentioned that many of the initiatives that he had implemented, such as the Commissioner's Command Center, the Community Comfort Patrol, the Emergency Response Patrol, have all been virtually shut down. And again, I don't want to play politics with this issue because the criminal elements don't care exactly what party you're aligned to. But in hindsight, these programs have all appeared to have been effective, so why would they disband it?
I cannot give you an answer for that. Personally, I cannot say if it was shut down or why it wasn't shut down. I can give you an answer to one organization that was shut down or, scaled down for want of a better word, and that is because of what was going on with it. So the long and the short of that then, sir, is that sometimes these things happen. I cannot tell you exactly what is the rationale for it, but if it's an initiative that brings results, it certainly will be looked at, right? It doesn't matter who implemented it once you're getting results.
And let me ask you this, Mr. Scotland. I mean,
Mikey, I did tell you I have something else.
yeah, I know that. I'm gonna
let your public know that you called me today.
That's right. I called you, and I want to thank you for taking time out to be with us. My final question to you is this: when you do, of course, at some point in time, leave this office, what do you want to make? Is your accomplishment that you would like to have recorded?
I was able to arrest and sting this time that is befalling this country.
Yeah. As I said, you're newly appointed. You've only been there for 2 weeks. I want to thank you for taking time out, but I do hope that you understand that we as citizens really and truly want to feel safe again. We want to live better again, and we want to be able to move around without having that fear of these criminal elements. Whatever that can be done, and whatever that we as citizens can do, because at the end of the day, this is not something that is a political ball that we're trying to gain traction. That's right. That's right. That's right.
You have my commitment in that regard.
And I will hold you to that.
Okay, sir.
All right. I want to thank you again. Okay. We'll talk again shortly. Thank you.
We will.
All right. We'll be right back.
Limiting chronic inflammation is important for so many conditions that occur.
I had a lot of pain 4 years ago.
I used to have pain in my knees and my hip.
Taking it for arthritis.
Omega XL saved my life.
Then I started to realize, but hey, I could use my hands, I don't have any pain.
All in all, I am pleased to say that the Omega XL has worked.
Looking for top quality and affordable hardware supplies? Then look no further than Midland Hardware, number 97 Eastern Main Road, Aruka. We stock a wide range of tools, water tanks, blocks, lumber, steel, and everything you need for your home and business project. Check out our new display of steel windows and assorted designs of metal curtain rods. Midland also stockpiles sand, gravel, topsoil, and more. We have a variety of kitchen faucets, face basins, and toilet sets, bathroom mat sets, all garden tools, hand tools, generators, power washers, and water pumps. Customers can make payments via links, credit card, online payment, and cash on delivery. WhatsApp 327-7761 for free quotations, or give us a call at 646-2144. Open every day, Sunday to Sunday from 8 a.m. From foundation to finish, it's all at Midland.
And we're back. Thank you. Joining us is President of the Fire Services Association, 2nd Division, Mr. Keon Guy. Pleasant good evening to you, Mr. Guy.
Good afternoon, Mikey, and good afternoon to all of your viewers as well.
Thank you. Interesting statement to the media. At this time, according to this media release, at this time, 6 out of the 11 fire stations in the Northern Division are unable to respond to fires due to the unavailability of firefighting capable appliances. Alarmingly, on a national scale, 9 out of 23 fire stations are unable to respond to any emergency due to the same issue. When this was sent out, comrade, I mean, you must have thought that, you know, something had to have said, what is general public going to think about this? I mean, this is not good. And the question that comes after is, why is this happening?
Some very excellent questions there, Mikey, and this didn't come about just by happenstance. The Management Committee of the Fire Service Association met this Tuesday at our Executive Committee meeting, and we thought it important to communicate directly to the public the challenges that the fire service have been having over the, I would say, going into almost a decade now, without much remedies being put forward with those who have the authority to make the changes. And the problem here is that the under-resourced organization like the fire service, one charged with the responsibility of offering fire protection services to the general public within Trinidad and Tobago and even regionally, means that the public is exposed in the event of fires and other types of emergencies and otherwise preventable loss of life or property damage would occur when in fact it could have been prevented, provided that the officers were given the requisite equipment and in this case appliances.
Yeah, I mean, this goes on to say that our members are operating with insufficient breathing apparatus sets, which are critical and necessary for every fire emergency. Additionally, there are critical shortages in hydraulic rescue tools, commonly known as the jaws of life, portable pumps, and generators for stations, with 70% of our stations lacking emergency power. Moreover, now this is where it gets even more interesting, there's a disturbing lack of personal protective equipment, including gloves and firefighting gear, which puts our officers at significant risk. I mean, basically, you are saying that firefighters responding to an emergency will not have, or most likely will not have, the proper gear to go out there and actually go about their business. This did not come about overnight, Mr. Guy. I mean, I remember, of course, you coming in, I was speaking to Comrade Ramkisoon. It was the same problems. We had issues with ladders that really and truly were not sturdy or they weren't of any value, as the case may be. Money spent there. and all these different reports. So this is not something that just simply happened overnight. How does one expect people to go about doing their jobs, risking their lives, putting their lives on the line, and don't even have the proper protective gear?
Exactly, and that's the challenge for us, and that's the dilemma faced with fire officers throughout Trinidad and Tobago right now. We are forced into a position where we are now being asked to make a decision between our lives and our safety versus that of the public. Now, when we sign up for these jobs, we sign up understanding that there is an inherent risk. There's a possibility that we may not go home to our families. And there's a real risk that we have accepted. But we have accepted that with the understanding that the state, on the other end, will uphold their end of the bargain and provide to us the tools to do the job so that we can do it as safely as possible. So that all of our hierarchy of controls can be in place, so that we can go there feeling assured in the performance of our equipment, as well as ensuring that we have the right tools to do it, and we can do it safely. Without those assurances, it is extremely difficult to be a firefighter in Trinidad and Tobago. And I see this at no other time than now have the lives of fire officers been at greater risk of injury, of death, and of long-term serious debilitating effects as a result of the decisions or the indecisions of the present decision makers. You hinted to it, and my predecessor spoke to these things many years ago. So the concerns we're raising right now are not indeed new, right? They've been highlighted in the past. But what is different now is the scale and severity of the situation. The level of equipment shortages, especially when we talk about appliances, it has reached an unprecedented level, and I don't see that lightly. Now it's not just a situation where we have one or two stations that are without appliances or inoperable. It's a circumstance right now, the circumstance of the situation right now is that entire regions within Trinidad and Tobago are being left unprotected and vulnerable without such a critical emergency response capability. And we believe that to be absolutely negligent. For the length of time the association has been doing its job and using the formal channels of communication to send that message both to the leadership within the fire service and within the Ministry of National Security, well, we believe ultimately the blame lies and no action has been taken, at least under this administration. We say that has to right to negligence. Negligence that has resulted in a number of our officers being injured in circumstances which could have been completely avoidable. But yet, here we are.
Yeah, and of course, there seems to be a deafening silence from the Ministry of National Security as well as the Fire Service Administration. So it makes us wonder as citizens, what kind of individuals would have no issue sending people out there to do a job that most likely, God forbid, if anything happens to them, basically it was, I don't understand. I mean, how can you feel sending someone out there knowing that they're not fully protected, they don't have the full gear, to go out there and do a job, put their life on the line, risk their life, and God forbid the chances of them returning home to their family is somewhat slim? Why is the Minister of National Security not weighing in on this?
I can't see exactly why the minister has not yet publicly responded or effectively responded to this, right? And I'm just not talking about some rhetoric, right? We are absolutely fed up of that. And these words I'm communicating here are the words of fire officers. They're fed up of the rhetoric of the Minister of National Security. What they want to see is real change. And we are realists and we understand what it will take and the time involved in seeing a true turnaround within the fire service. You need to understand that a firefighting appliance is not something that we could go on the market and pick up tomorrow and deliver. These are things that take approximately 18 months to custom build and deliver. So if today we are not seriously talking about supplying the fire service with at least 10 to 15 new appliances, a year and a half from now, or 2 years from now, 3 years from now, we will remain in these same conditions, right? So the silence in the Ministry of National Security, I would say, has been deafening and persistent, despite the many calls, again, from us, despite us using the formal and informal channels and the safety of our fire officers are in tremendous jeopardy. And that's why we made these statements. That is why we held that press conference that we did earlier this year on April the 4th, and today again, making it publicly known. This is the situation, and if decisive action is not taken to ensure that these problems are ameliorated, we will not see much turnaround for many years to come. The fire service is on brink of collapse.
And as it stands now in some parts of the Northern Division, is it that if citizens are in need of your service in case of emergency, of a fire, is it that we expect to be told, listen, there's nothing we can do for you, we can't come out there, we simply cannot respond to this emergency?
No, you would hear oftentimes the chief officer and others from our public relations department for the fire service speak about these coverage plans that they are putting in place. And what they mean, if you would understand, for those of us who know the geography of Trinidad well, or even just in Western Peninsula, for the Western Peninsula, the whole of the Martin area and so on, Chagaramas, that has an industrial estate, we have 2 fire stations to cover that area, which in our belief is inadequate as it is. Presently, those stations do not have firefighting appliances. That is the Chagaramas Fire Station and the Four Roads Fire Station. Further down to Woodbrook, who may then lend them support, also does not have an appliance. So it's now left for the officers assigned to the Wrighton Road Fire Station to cover not just Port of Spain and Belmont, which is also without an appliance, but Port of Spain, Belmont, Gonzales, St. Anne's, Cascade, Maraval, all up into the north coast, up to the Pillars, and as far down in Devon Martin and in Charlotte, and down to the Suburbs Bay in Chagaramas. So that is now what is left up to one station to do, what is really the responsibility of four or five. So it is very possible that multiple emergencies can occur, and the fire service will not be able to mount an effective response. They may mount one, but it will be extremely delayed, and then, Mikey, when those officers show up, they are showing up under-equipped. They do not have breathing apparatus set, so that if there's a rescue to be performed, they cannot. They are showing up with a lot of the stations without ladders. They are showing up without personal protection like the firefighting gloves. These things drastically reduce our capabilities. And we have been singing this song for years, as it would seem now. And again, as I open, the silence from the ministry is deafening. And not just, again, we are not looking for rhetoric, we are not looking for statements. We want to see real action taken that will address these concerns and finally put them to rest. The public is owed that from a responsible government, and we have not, sadly, we have been unable to see that so far.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we definitely deserve better. I mean, one would think that, I mean, here it is, you're paying taxes, and God forbid something happened at your home, and you simply just have to say, listen, no one can help me, no one can come to my assistance, no one can come to rescue me, and that's it. Have you given a timeline as far as when, you know, enough is enough and that's it?
You see, it's difficult to give a timeline, and as a responsible association, we will not engage in that type of activities. And not because it's irresponsible, but it's a true dilemma to fire officers, because we work in our communities. You think the officers assigned to move a fire station don't want to ensure that should a house catch a fire and move her, which could be theirs or their mothers or their families or their friends, that they are able to mount a response? You think that's not the same for the officers down in Mayaro Fire Station? They want to ensure that should an emergency call come in into the communities which I live, I can protect my community. And that has been stripped away from those officers. So they are left in a predicament now with whatever equipment they can make up with plasticine or otherwise. They are trying to mount a response. We've had it in the past. The officers from San Grande Fire Station responded in the past with their cars.
With their cars, their
with their personal vehicles,
personal vehicles. Wow.
and mounted a response when their station was without an appliance.
Wow.
Today I was at the Woodbrook Fire Station, and the officers at Woodbrook Fire Station had to proceed on foot to render assistance to a member of the public who ran to the station for assistance. And those officers donned their kits in the rain and went out to assist that member without hesitating. Some officers are there, they are ready to work, they are willing. Right? And in fact, that's why we have seen a high number of officers being injured this year, even more so in the past, with almost 20 of them being either hospitalized or treated for smoke inhalation. This is not something that we witnessed quite frequently in the past when we had our BA sets. But now officers, despite not having the self-contained brain apparatus sets to protect their respiratory system, these officers are still venturing into the lanes that attempt to perform rescues or to save people's property. And again, it's the most vulnerable against them, who are often impacted the most vulnerable. Those who often times their homes are not insured because they took their time and built it up on some land that was given to them by their mom or their grandparents. When they built their homes, they weren't able to insure it. So when the officers arrive on the scene and we see those tears and we hear those cries and those screams, whether it be for the loss of life or property, the officers are forced in that position now where they must forego their own safety in order to carry out what they believe is not just their duty, under some regulation, but they believe is a calling ordained by God. So they go in and still attempt to perform these rescues. And then we see these officers have to be hospitalized, and that's just the acute stages of it. Because long term, we will see the impact with the rising cancers. And in fact, I will say right now, we're already seeing it. For the year already, we have buried 4 of our officers, young persons, between the ages of their mid-30s to early 40s, from cancer and other illnesses that we know is directly related to firefighting. And that's what the fire officers within Trinidad and Tobago have been putting up with for decades, and at least this last decade here has been the worst, bar none, for fire officers.
I tell you, Mr. Guy, I want to thank you so much for taking time out to link with us this evening. I mean, words, I don't understand, and I'm sure many people who are viewing as well. I mean, we're talking about $500 billion has been spent in the last 9 years. That's $500 billion. And we're having an interview where the head of the Fire Services Association is talking about the fact that his men under his watch, men and women who are putting their lives on the line, leaving their families every day and responding to emergencies, don't even have the proper protective gear. We are in the July, August holidays. God forbid children are at home. Some may want to stay inside. Emergency happened. How are people from the fire service going to respond? I mean, really and truly, I tell people all the time, 100 Hollywood writers couldn't write this, and I can't believe that we are having a discussion about something as basic as making sure that fire officers can go out there and do their job with the gear that they need. It's sad. It's very unfortunate. Again, thank you for taking time out, and we will be speaking again in the near future. Best of luck to you and your entire team.
Well, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here, and thank you for your listeners as well. An enjoyable evening.
Same to you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't know, when you try to put things in perspective, I mean, even talking to the minister in the Ministry of National Security, because he had to run, and yes, I did call him this morning because it was totally overbearing. I've been calling him for quite a while. I've called other people in the ministry because people want answers, and we want answers now. I can understand that you're newly appointed. It's been 2 weeks, but simple, basic questions like what former Commissioner Griffith had, the Commissioner's Command Center, the Community Comfort Patrol, the Emergency Response Patrol, all of these things. People can remember in your community, you see those people who are out there monitoring and it give you a sense of security. These are things that, I mean, really truly, why would you do away with something that was effective? And, and to say that you're working on something tonight and you're going into wee hours of the morning, my friend, we are at 377 murders for the year. Last month was the third highest in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, 66 murders in the month of July. And I mean, as much as I enjoy coming here and making sure that you get, that perspective, which of course affects you and the reality that you live on a daily basis, some people are totally disconnected. When I ask them the question, I mean, the perception is that the powers that be do not care about us as citizens. And he said, no, that's not so, because he was appointed. Well, then if you are the savior and you were appointed, what are you going to do now? Yes, it's been 2 weeks, but you are also, of course, in charge of that committee dealing with national security, Joint Select Committee, so you would have had some insight. And again, I don't want to knock you because I try to be pleasant to everybody, but this is not a political issue. This is a life-saving issue. And that's what we're seeing. And everyone who has come so far to talk about it, and you just heard from Mr. Guy from the Fire Service Association, this has been the worst. The worst. I'll take a break and be right back. We'll be right back.